Next up, very afraid, very afraid. Instead, you can say fearful, fearful. So the pronunciation is fearful, fearful. For example, I might say parents these days are fearful about their children's screen time on social media. Parents are fearful about their children's screen time on social media. So, very afraid is fearful, fearful. So next up is very important, very important. Instead, you can say essential, essential. It's essential to pass your exams. It's essential to pass your exams. Yeah, so that's all about it. That's all about the advanced English words, 10 commonly words to use instead of very. So yeah, I mean, this is very important lesson, basically. Is one of the advanced English words, most commonly word to use instead of very, and is stop using the word very quite a lot. And yeah, if you want to sound more confident, more fluent, and even to sound more like a native speaker, you definitely need to use one of these words in your daily life. Yeah, I mean, that's all about it. That's all for me today. If you found the lesson useful, you like what you saw today, please consider to give it a like and consider to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you soon in a part 2. Until then, keep learning and keep practicing English. Very big. Very big. When something is very big, instead you can say colossal. Colossal. So the pronunciation is colossal. Colossal. For example, 35 million is a colossal amount of debt to start your working life with. 35 million is a colossal amount of debt to start your working life with. Number 2, very interesting. Very interesting. Instead, you can say fascinating. Fascinating. It's a very tricky word as well. So, British pronunciation, you want to say fascinating. Fascinating. For example, it was a fascinating journey to Paris. It was a fascinating journey to Paris. So, you might be somewhere, or you've done something really, really interesting over the weekend, and instead of saying very interesting, you might say very interesting. Instead, you can say fascinating to sound more advanced, more fluent, and more like a native speaker. Number 3 on the list is very nice. Very nice. So, to stop using the word very nice quite a lot and to sound more confident, to sound more like a native speaker, you can say delightful. Delightful. Instead of saying nice to meet you, you can also say delightful to meet you. Delightful to meet you. Or you can say, let's say, it's been a delightful to meet all my friends after a long period of time. It's been delightful to meet all my friends after a long period of time. Probably having seen your friends for quite a long time, and you feel really happy about that. You feel really nice because you've seen your friends after a long period of time. So it's been delightful to see my friends after a long period of time. Number 4 on the list is very sure. Very sure. Instead, you can say certain. Certain. So the pronunciation here is certain. I think it's quite tricky as well. You have to pronounce this word without the letter R, because I think in British English, if you want to master British English, you have to not pronounce the letters that come after the vowel letter. So you don't have to pronounce it. It's consonant, you have to ignore it, and of course you will find sounds, different sounds, and here is a sound. So I think it's a schwa sound, the shortest one. So you can say certain, certain is certain. British English is certain. So for example, I'm certain if you practice your English in regular basis, you will speak more confident and more fluent. So number 5 on the list is very clever. What do you call someone who's clever? To avoid using the word clever person, you can call them intelligent. Intelligent. For example, my friend is intelligent, or my brother is intelligent. Or you can say, for example, there have been lots of intelligent arguments about the world war. There have been lots of intelligent arguments about the world war. Number 6 on the list is very beautiful. Very beautiful. Instead, to replace the word beautiful, you can say gorgeous. Gorgeous. It might be a person you want to describe, for example, a place, or it might be a lady. She's very beautiful. Instead, you can say she's gorgeous. Or, for example, you can say October is the best month for gorgeous autumn colours. October is the best month for gorgeous autumn colours. So the pronunciation is gorgeous. Gorgeous. So make sure that you are pronounce these words accurately. Gorgeous. Well, number 7 on the list is very good. Very good. Instead, you can say excellent. Excellent. So the pronunciation is excellent. For example, the schools have had an excellent test. The schools have had an excellent test. And number 8 on the list is very bad. Very bad. Instead, you can say awful. Awful. For example, the team has lots of awful work to be working with the moment. The team has lots of awful work to be working on at the moment. And number 9 on the list is very easy. Very easy. Instead, you can say is straightforward. Is straightforward. So the pronunciation is straightforward. For example, the students found the test is straightforward and they tackle it. The students found the test is straightforward and they tackle it. Number 10 is very difficult. Very difficult. Instead, you can say complicated. Complicated. So the pronunciation is complicated. 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 For example, applying for citizenship is a long-term and complicated process. Applying for citizenship is a long-term and complicated process. Yeah, I mean, that's all about 10 commonly words to use instead of very, to help you sound more like a native, more like advanced English speaker, and more confident when you speak in English. And if you do find the lesson helpful, you find the lesson really useful, you like what you saw today, please don't forget to hit the like button and also share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click the notification bell so you haven't missed any such an interesting English lesson. Until then, keep learning and keep practicing, guys, and I will see you in a part 3 in this English lesson series. And of course, I hope this lesson has been useful. welcome to the third part in this English lesson series, where you learn 50 advanced English words to use instead of very, with example sentences and correct pronunciation. So if you haven't watched the first part and the second part, please make sure that you watch the first and the second part. There is lots of words to learn, from advanced English words and native English words to speak more confident and more fluent, and also to expand your English vocabulary, because I think in order to achieve fluency, you really need to enhance your English vocabulary. And this is going to be the third part. You're watching the third part in this English lesson series. It's going to be 10 commonly words to use instead of very, with example sentences and pronunciation. So without further ado, let's get this started. And the first word on the list is very hot, very hot. Instead, you can say sweltering, sweltering. For example, I might say, despite the sweltering conditions, we managed to enjoy our camping trip by the lake. Despite the sweltering conditions, we managed to enjoy our camping trip by the lake. So pronunciation is sweltering, sweltering. And number 2 on the list, very cold, very cold, very cold. Instead, you can say freezing, freezing. So when the weather is freezing, it means that the weather is cold. For example, as we waited for the bus for longer hours, in the freezing rain, we wished we had brought our umbrellas. As we waited for the bus for longer hours in the freezing rain, we wished we had brought our umbrellas. And number 3 on the list is very poor, very poor. Instead, you can say impoverish, impoverish. So the pronunciation is impoverish, impoverish. For example, the village had been impoverished for many years due to lack of access to cleaning water and economic opportunities. The village had been impoverished for many years due to lack of access of cleaning water and economic opportunities. And number 4 is very rich, very rich. Someone who have a lot of money, someone who probably they have companies, industries, like let's say government, for example. They have a lot of money, and we can call them wealthy, wealthy, wealthy. So the pronunciation is wealthy. For example, despite being born in a wealthy family, she chose to live a modest lifestyle. Despite being born in a wealthy family, she chose to live a modest lifestyle. And number 5 on the list is very shy, very shy. Someone who have, lack of confidence, introverted person. You can call them timid, timid. Very shy, timid. For example, she used to be timid around strangers, but she became more outgoing over time. She used to be timid around strangers, but she became more outgoing over time. And number 6 on the list is very brave, very brave. Instead, you can say very brave. You can say courageous, courageous, courageous. So the pronunciation is courageous. For example, in facts of diversity, the team worked courageously together to overcome obstacles and achieve success. So, in facts of diversity, the team worked courageously together to overcome obstacles and achieve success. So please guys, just make sure that you use all these advanced English words. Every word, I mean, like whatever word you picked, just try to use it in a context in the comment section below. I'd love to know. I'd love really to help. And number 7 on the list is very detail. Very detail. Instead, you can say meticulous. Meticulous. For example, the architect meticulously designed the building and paying close attention to every aspect of its construction. So the architect meticulously designed the building, paying close attention to every aspect of its construction. So the pronunciation is meticulous, meticulous, meticulous. And number 8 on the list is very crowded, very crowded. Instead, you can say bustling, bustling. For example, the beach was bustling with families enjoying the sunshine. The beach was bustling with the families enjoying the sunshine. And number 9 on the list is very clear, very clear. Instead, you can say obvious, obvious. So the pronunciation is obvious. For example, the answer to math problems became obvious after I reviewed the equation. So the answer to math problems became obvious after I reviewed the math equation. And number 10 on the list is very busy, very busy. Instead, you can say is swamped, is swamped. Pronunciation is swamped, is swamped. For example, after announcement, the customer service department was swamped with inquiries from concerned clients. So after announcement, the customer service department was swamped with inquiries from concerned clients. So yeah guys, that's another 10 commonly words to use instead of very, with example sentences and pronunciation. If you like what you saw today, you like the lesson, you like these words, of course you found it useful, please don't forget to give it a like and consider to subscribe to the channel, and also share it with your friends and subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget to click the bell so you don't miss any such an interesting English lesson. So guys, until then, keep practicing and keep learning. Welcome to the part 4 in this English lesson series, where you learn 10 commonly words to use instead of very, with example sentences and pronunciation practice. So if you haven't watched the first part and the second part and also the third part, so you'll find the link in the description below, so please go and check them out. And without further ado, let's get started with our first words on the list, which is very tall, very tall. Instead, you can say towering, towering. The building, or it might be a mountain that's very tall, you can say towering, towering. So the pronunciation is towering. For example, as we drove through the countryside, we passed by the mountain towering above us. As we drove through the countryside, we passed by the mountain towering above us. And number 2, very short, very short. Instead, you can say brief, brief, brief. So the pronunciation is brief, brief. For example, the teacher briefly briefed the students about the upcoming exam format and important topics to review. The teacher briefly briefed the students about the upcoming exam format and important topics to review. And number 3 on the list is very full, very full. Instead, you can say plentiful, plentiful. So the pronunciation is plentiful, plentiful, plentiful. For example, the forest used to be plentiful with the wildlife. Unfortunately, overhunting and habitat destruction have significantly reduced their numbers. So the forest used to be plentiful with the wildlife. Unfortunately, overhunting and habitat destruction have significantly reduced their numbers. And number 4 on the list is very empty. Very empty. In instead you can say desolate. 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 So I think this word is quite tricky. Make sure you pronounce it accurately. Is desolate. 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 For example, after the conflict over, the war-torn region was left desolate. After the conflict over, the war-torn region was left desolate. And number 5 on the list is very thankful. Very thankful. Instead you can say grateful. Grateful. Pronunciation is grateful. Grateful. For example, I was grateful for my friend's support during a difficult time. I was grateful for my friend's support during a difficult time. And number 6 is very sorry. Very sorry. Instead you can say apologetic. Apologetic. Pronunciation is apologetic. Apologetic. For example, I might say they were apologetic for arriving late to the party. They were apologetic for arriving late to the party. Please make sure that you using these words, alternative words, in the comment section below. Try to make your own sentences. I would love to read your comments. And number 7 is very active. Very active. Instead you can say energetic. Energetic. Pronunciation is energetic. Energetic. For example, he was energetic during the game yesterday. He was energetic during the game yesterday. And number 8 is very sleepy. Very sleepy. Instead you can say lethargic. Lethargic. Pronunciation is lethargic. 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 For example, after a heavy meal, I felt lethargic and unable to concentrate. After a heavy meal, I felt lethargic and unable to concentrate. And number 9 on the list is very risky. Very risky. Instead you can say perilous. Perilous. So the pronunciation is perilous. Perilous. For example, the storm made their journey across the ocean perilous. Hopefully they reached their destination safely. The storm made their journey across the ocean perilous. Hopefully they reached their destination safely. And number 10 on the list is very painful. Very painful. Instead you can say excruciating. 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 So the pronunciation is excruciating. For example, I might say after the surgery, he experienced an excruciating discomfort in his back. After the surgery, he experienced an excruciating discomfort in his back. So that's another 10 commonly words to use instead of very, part 4. So please make sure that you watch the first part and the second and the third part. There's lots and lots of different words to learn from, and advanced English word to stop using the word very and to sound more confident and more fluent, and of course to understand native speakers even better. And you can improve your pronunciation along the way. You can practice your pronunciation. And yeah, I mean, you like what you saw today. If you like the lesson, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, and of course click the notification bell so you don't miss any lesson. Of course, it's only left one part in this English lesson series, and yeah, I hope this series will help you to improve your English even better, to improve or to enhance your English vocabulary, and to understand native speakers, and of course your pronunciation as well. So until then guys, keep learning and keep practicing, and I'll see you soon in a part 5. Welcome to this English lesson series. Welcome to this 5-part lesson series where you learn 50 advanced English words to use instead of very, with example sentences and pronunciation practice. I've already covered 40 advanced English words to use instead of very. It's all about stop using the word very and to give you a better replacement to help you with your English, expanding your English vocabulary and to sound more confident and more fluent. And if you haven't watched and you are new to the channel, you will find the link in the description below and you will go and check them out, hopefully. And hopefully, I hope you start using them in your daily English conversations. And hopefully, this is going to be another part containing the 10 commonly words to use instead of very. And hopefully, it will help you expand your English vocabulary even more. So, without further ado, let's get it started. And let's see our first word. Very clean. Very clean. Instead, you can say immaculate. 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 Pronunciation is immaculate. Immaculate. So, for example, well, I mean, like, I'm a person who like the clean things. I like to keep my room immaculate every 2 days. So, for example, I might say, she kept her room immaculate for many years. She kept her room immaculate for many years. Number 2, very dirty. Very dirty. In a set, you can say filthy. 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 Pronunciation is filthy. Filthy. For example, despite all our efforts, the car remained filthy. Despite all our efforts, the car remained filthy. And number 3, very cute. Very cute. In a set, you can say adorable. Adorable. So, adorable. Adorable. For example, she wore an adorable dress to the party. She wore an adorable dress to the party. Number 4 is very ugly. Very ugly. In that, you can say unattractive. 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 For example, the old car appeared unattractive after many years of neglect. The old car appeared unattractive after many years of neglect. Number 5, very exciting. Very exciting. Very exciting. In a set, you can say exhilarating. Exhilarating. Pronunciation is exhilarating. For example, the skydiving we went last summer was exhilarating. The skydiving we went last summer was exhilarating. So, of course, guys, I know it's kind of a bit difficult and to replace the word very, and of course to use it in a sentence. Try to make your own sentences, and I would love to know. I would love to read your comments. And yeah, I mean, hopefully you will start using them in your daily English conversations to sound more confident and more fluent. Number 6 is very upset. Very upset. Instead, you can say irritated. 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 So, for example, the repetitive music playing on the waiting room irritated the patients who were already unwell. The repetitive music playing on the waiting room irritated the patients who were already unwell. Number 7 is very talented. Very talented. Instead, you can say educated. educated. For example, the documentary series had lots of educated viewers. The documentary series had lots of educated viewers. Number 8 is very creative. Very creative. Instead, you can say innovative. 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 For example, the architect had designed an innovative skyscraper. The architect had designed an innovative skyscraper. And number 9 is very thirsty. Instead, you can say parch, parch, parch. For example, after long running of marathons, he felt parched. After long running of marathon, he felt parched. And number 10 is very hungry. Very hungry. Instead, you can say starving, starving, starving. For example, when they found the lost hikers, they were starving and dehydrated. When they found the lost hikers, they were starving and dehydrated. It's another 10 commonly words. So it's it's a final part, and hopefully, I hope this English lesson series, 5-part lesson series, will hopefully help you expand your English vocabulary and to sound more confident and more fluent in English. And hopefully, you will start using them in your English daily life and in your English conversations to sound more confident and more fluent when you speak in English and to impress other English speakers. So until then, guys, keep learning and keep practicing. So if you like the lesson, you like what you saw today, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and also consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And share it with your friends. And I'll see you soon, guys. And enjoy the lesson. And I'll see you soon. Cheers, everyone. Bye.